opposed to globalization. It's like being locked in a dark room, not seeing anything, not getting anything. So that is and it's interesting, there's a role reversal between globalization. China is spearheading globalization and the US opposing globalization. Tariffs, sanctions, barriers, and protectionism. So this is interesting, and China is the leader of globalization today. And in fact, globalization, the roots of that lie in the Silk Road. 2,000 years ago, the first globalization initiative was the Silk Road, which connected countries, continents, and cultures through commerce. And they're connected. So Silk Road, I think the basis of globalization is in Asia and in China and the Silk Road. And I was recently in China and I was reminded of a very important saying of President Xi Jinping that we are witnessing in the world once in a century changes. The changes which have not been seen in a century are occurring before us. So let me just briefly give you the big picture. What are those changes? What is that being talked about? The biggest change which we are fortunate to witness in our lifetime is that the global center of gravity in terms of economic and political power is shifting from the west to the east. And the east includes the global south, Asia, Africa, Latin America. And in this change, you can see very major developments. We have seen I was reading The Economist recent issues, and they had two stories which are very important. On 9th of May, The Economist said that the post-World War II Western-dominated international economic and political order is coming apart. This is The Economist of 9th of May. And then The Economist said on 15th of June, a cover story, and Ambassador George Salim is one of the thinking ambassadors because I have known him from before. He's an intellectual also, a scholar, and the right man for the right job. The Economist had a cover story. China, the scientific superpower. This is The Economist. Out of top 10 universities in science and technology, 6 are from China. The top university in science technology research today is the Tsinghua University in Beijing, where President Xi Jinping studied incidentally. Out of major papers and research on artificial intelligence, 40% of those are from China, 15% from Europe and UK, and 10% from the US. So this is how the globe is evolving. Then we see also Chinese diplomacy. Last week in Beijing, 40 Palestinian factions were brought together for a unity government for the first time in the history of the Palestinian struggle. They signed an agreement for unity under the auspices of China. And this is 1 year after China brokered the Iran-Saudi rapprochement. The Middle East was supposed to be the Western domain. China was limited to Asia. But you can see Chinese diplomacy has effectively brought this about, and there were people who were witness to the signing included Turkey, Qatar, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, other countries. So this was in Beijing. And then we have seen two interesting reports. Because I feel that when we talk of CPEC, the CPEC is under attack from its detractors. They're using what I call the 3D strategy. Demonize CPEC to the IPP's issue or some other issue. They're trying to damage the Pakistan-China relationship and destabilize, demonize, damage, and destabilize. This is a very organized effort. And let me give you two facts on that. On 24th of June, the Reuters news agency came out with this story. Reuters is a British news agency. That the American Pentagon had launched a disinformation campaign against Chinese vaccines in Southeast Asia, in Central Asia, and Middle East, especially Sinovac. This is the Reuters report. And Similarly, they have a report on 24th of March. This is again Reuters. I'm quoting the British sources. The British news agency Reuters. 24th of March. They said that the CIA had launched a media disinformation campaign against a Belt and Road Initiative, of which the CPEC is a branch, since 2019. And then the same year, the US passed the Strategic Competition Act, in which $300 million have been allocated for countering China influence funding. So these are the facts. So this is the big picture. There is a shift in the global balance of power. It's shifting from the west to the east. There is also an effort to block this progress and the shift and ignite a new Cold War. And I mentioned these campaigns. Now let's come to CPEC and let's see June. June, they had two important developments in Pakistan-China relations, which were very positive. First, the visit of the Prime Minister and the Army Chief to Beijing, and their meeting with President Xi Jinping on 7th of June. And what did President Xi Jinping tell the Pakistani guests? He said, and I quote, China views relationship with Pakistan from a strategic long-term perspective. That is the key. And secondly, the joint statement, which was issued by both sides, China and Pakistan, on 7th of June. It's a very comprehensive statement. They say the relationship between the two countries, and I quote, is based on unshakable mutual trust, which is critical to maintaining the regional balance. And they talk of other things also. Pakistan talks of China development as a role model to developing countries, also about Xi Jinping's thoughts about the new type of foreign relations and about other relationships. But this is the core which I'm just giving, which is extremely important. And following up on that, on 21st of June, the Minister for International Development of the Communist Party of China, my good friend, His Excellency Liu Jianchao, a very accomplished Chinese diplomat, he was there. And on that day, on 21st of June, I was present, and Mr. Yang, you were also there, and we were taking copious notes as a good functionary of the Central Committee. The entire Pakistani political spectrum was there. Opposition, government, provinces. United for CPEC. There may be differences on other issues, and there are very serious issues. But CPEC and China have become a factor for uniting Pakistan's provinces and political forces, which is a very positive element. And all of them reaffirmed their support for CPEC and for taking CPEC forward in what the joint statement said is high quality CPEC development up. So that was the context in June. And I think that was truly historic. And in July, suddenly we see a campaign of IPPs linking it to China, linking it to CPEC. Although the 40 families who control the IPPs are Pakistanis. And they have gotten the basic, this capacity payments, which were 2.2 trillion paid last year. They were paid mostly to these 40 families who are Pakistanis or government, not the China. And the Chinese IPPs are still cheaper, by the way, at rupees 18 per unit, than the government IPPs. And so, you know what, they ipso facto linked it with that. So, because the purpose is to demonize, destabilize the damage. And then, we heard from our old friend in Washington, D.C., His Excellency Honorable Assistant Secretary of State for South Asia and Central Asia. And he says, China is the past, the US is the future. And he announces $101 million for Pakistan, as opposed to China's $26 billion in IPP. So of course, when CPEC was launched, no country was willing to invest anything in Pakistan. Neither any Muslim country, nor any Western country, nor the US. China reposed a vote of confidence in the future of Pakistan and the people of Pakistan because as a tried and tested friend, because China has stood firm like a rock on Pakistan's core interests. And we have also stood like a rock on China's core interests. So it's a relationship based on mutual trust, shared interests, and a common worldview in these changing times. When the Taliban were bad, they were good in our books. Now when they are in power, they are bad in our books. So I think it's our fault. It's policy has been faulty. We promised the Chinese two things. We have not delivered on that. Foolproof security. This is a man-made problem. It's not a problem of nature or divine problem. It can be done. The biggest Chinese investments in Africa, where are they? Nigeria and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Both have civil wars. Both have conflicts. Both are supposed to be almost failed states. But no Chinese has been killed there. In the last 5 years, there have been 6 terrorist incidents, 17 Chinese killed, including professors, including ladies, and 13 Pakistanis also. So I think we have to have an effective, doable counter-terror strategy. And I'm sure under your leadership, we can all sitting in the podium. Colonel Temur has been in the ISI in the Forge. He is also a former Navy officer. He has been in also in the civil service. And I can give my Mushahid observation and advice, and we can deliver that. Under your auspices, we can have a war room and give a viable counter-terror strategy. It's doable. It's no rocket science. And second, I was having dinner with the mayor of Shanghai 5 years ago before COVID. And I asked the mayor of Shanghai, hypothetically, if I want to establish a company here, how long will it take? He said 48 hours. He said, where would I land? I said, where would I have to go to give my cafe? He said, no, you can do it from your hotel online. And if your papers are okay, you can open a bank account also. China. This is the same in Dubai also. Same in Qatar also. Same in Saudi Arabia also now. Why can't we do it? We've been promising them. So our failure is linked. So, as Shakespeare said, my dear Buddhists, the fault lies not in our stars, it lies in us. We have to take decisions with single-minded determination and take issues forward to deliver. Especially, and this applies not just to Chinese, Western investment, Arab investment, Saudi investment, other investment. They will not come other than that. And finally, I'd like to say that people always say that we are facing choices, we are facing difficulties, need for balance. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Yes, it would be very good to balance if there is a balance there. The US National Security Strategy on 12th of October 2022 has said 2 things. Number one, that their most important strategic partner is India. They have not mentioned Pakistan in that. And their most serious adversary is China. So our best friend is their adversary, and our worst enemy is their best friend. Right? And secondly, they have said, don't put all your eggs in the one basket. Which is the other basket, I'd like to know. Please tell me, what is the other basket in terms of investment? Other than your romance with America, we have an old love affair. And the problem is, and I was speaking at this Pakistan-America Relations seminar hosted by your neighbor last week, where the American ambassador was there, others were there. I said, we see issues differently from America. We see that our relationship with America, because it's a cultural problem from Pakistan's side. Leaders, both military or civil, they have this problem. We see that our relationship should be based on a Catholic marriage, in which there is no divorce. With America. The Americans see Pakistan as a girlfriend, pardon my saying, for a rainy day, on an as-needed basis, if there's a geopolitical situation. So I think we should be very clear. Relationships are based on interests. Interests, when they coincide, we work together. It's not based on, and we personalize our relationship with the United States. It's wrong.